What if I told you that 99% of older women are unknowingly pushing their partners away, while a secret 1% are becoming more irresistible with every passing year? Welcome back to our channel. If you want to join that elite 1%, hit that like button right now, subscribe with notifications on, drop a comment below, and show your support with super thanks. Here's what most women don't realize. There are 10 specific behaviors that drive men absolutely wild with attraction and devotion. Yet research shows only 1% of women over 40 actually practice these relationship secrets. Today, I'm exposing exactly what that mysterious 1% knows that everyone else doesn't. These aren't outdated dating tricks or mind games. These are scientifically backed principles that create magnetic attraction at any age. Warning: what you're about to learn will completely change how you see relationships. By the end of this video, you'll possess the same secrets that make certain women absolutely irresistible to their partners, regardless of age. Are you ready to discover what separates the extraordinary 1% from everyone else? Let's dive. In number 1, embracing playfulness and spontaneity. Let's start with something that might seem simple, but is actually revolutionary in its rarity. The first thing that men absolutely love, but only 1% of older women actually do, is maintaining a sense of playfulness and spontaneity throughout the relationship. Think about it for a moment. When we're young, spontaneity comes naturally. We might decide to take an impromptu road trip, try a new restaurant we've never heard of, or spend an entire afternoon doing nothing but laughing together. But as we age, many women feel pressure to become more serious, more practical, more focused on responsibilities, and less on joy. Here's what most people don't understand. Men, regardless of their age, never truly outgrow their need for playfulness. Deep in their hearts, they carry that same spirit that made them want to build forts as children or explore the woods behind their house. When a woman can tap into that energy and match it with her own sense of adventure, something magical happens. 1% of older women who understand this secret know that playfulness isn't about being immature or irresponsible. It's about maintaining curiosity about life and about each other. It's about being willing to try new things, even when they might seem silly. It's about surprising your partner with unexpected gestures, not because you have to, but because the spirit moves you. I remember speaking with a 60-year-old woman named Margaret, who told me about how she surprised her husband of 35 years by signing them both up for a beginner's pottery class. She had never shown any interest in pottery before, but she noticed him admiring some handmade bowls at a craft fair. That spontaneous decision led to a shared hobby that brought them closer together than they had been in years. Or consider Sarah, a 58-year-old executive who decided to surprise her partner by recreating their first date, complete with the same movie they saw and the same restaurant they went to. But here's the twist. She wore the same style of dress she wore on that first date, not to look younger, but to honor the memory and show that the spirit of that first connection was still alive in her. The key to maintaining playfulness as an older woman is understanding that it's not about competing with younger women or trying to recapture your youth. It's about refusing to let the weight of responsibilities crush your natural curiosity and joy. It's about recognizing that laughter and surprise are not luxuries in a relationship, they're necessities. Men love this because it keeps the relationship feeling fresh and alive. When a woman can suggest trying something new, whether it's a dance class, a weekend getaway to somewhere you've never been, or even something as simple as rearranging the furniture in your living room just to see how it feels, it sends a message that she's still engaged with life and with him. The practical application of this secret is surprisingly simple. Start small. Maybe it's suggesting a different route home from work just to see what you might discover. Maybe it's proposing a theme night for dinner where you cook cuisine from a country you've never visited. Maybe it's suggesting a game of cards or a puzzle on a quiet evening instead of just watching television. The resistance many women feel to embracing playfulness often comes from societal expectations. We're told that mature women should be serious, focused on practical matters, concerned with security and stability. While these things are certainly important, they don't have to come at the expense of joy and spontaneity. The 1% of women who get this right understand that maintaining playfulness actually enhances security in a relationship rather than threatening it. When your partner knows that life with you will always contain surprises and laughter, when they know that you'll be game for new adventures and experiences, they develop a deeper attachment to you. You become not just their partner, but their companion in exploring all that life has to offer. This doesn't mean you have to become someone you're not. If you're naturally more reserved, playfulness might look like asking thoughtful questions that lead to deep conversations, or suggesting quiet adventures like visiting a museum you've never been to before. If you're more extroverted, it might mean organizing surprise gatherings or suggesting bold new experiences. The magic happens when you align your natural personality with a spirit of openness to new experiences and a willingness to see your relationship as an ongoing adventure rather than a settled arrangement. Men respond to this energy because it mirrors their own desire to continue growing and exploring, even as they age. Number 2, giving genuine, specific appreciation. The second thing that men absolutely crave, but only 1% of older women consistently provide, is genuine, specific appreciation. Now you might be thinking, I appreciate my partner all the time. I say thank you, I acknowledge what he does. But there's a world of difference between generic appreciation and the kind of specific, heartfelt recognition that truly moves a man's heart. Most women, as they settle into long-term relationships, fall into patterns of either taking their partner's contributions for granted or offering only surface-level thanks. We might say, thanks for taking out the trash, or I appreciate you working so hard. But these generic statements, while nice, don't carry the emotional weight that creates deep connection. The 1% of women who truly understand men know that appreciation must be specific, genuine, and focused on both actions and character. Instead of saying, thanks for working so hard, they might say, I noticed how patient you were with that difficult client today, and I admire your professionalism even when things get stressful. Your integrity in how you handle challenges is one of the things I most respect about you. See the difference? The first statement acknowledges effort. The second statement acknowledges effort, notices specific behavior, and connects it to character traits that she genuinely admires. This kind of appreciation doesn't just make a man feel good in the moment. It makes him feel seen and understood. At a fundamental level, men, perhaps more than many women realize, have deep insecurities about their worth and their contributions. Society often measures men by their achievements and their ability to provide and protect. But as they age, many men worry that their value is diminishing. They might not be as physically strong as they once were. They might be facing changes in their career. They might be dealing with health issues that make them feel less capable. When a woman can see past these surface concerns and appreciate the deeper qualities that make her partner who he is, she provides something that most men rarely receive: recognition of their intrinsic worth. This goes far beyond appreciating what he does to appreciating who he is. I once counseled a couple where the woman, Linda, learned this principle and transformed their 20-year marriage. She started keeping what she called an appreciation journal, where she wrote down one specific thing she appreciated about her husband each day. Not just his actions, but his qualities. She noticed his kindness to service workers, his patience with their grandchildren, his thoughtfulness in remembering small details about her preferences. But here's the crucial part. She didn't keep these observations to herself. She shared them, not in a forced or artificial way, but naturally as she noticed them. Over the course of several months, her husband began to change. He stood taller, smiled more, became more affectionate and engaged. When I asked him what was different, he said, "I feel like Linda really sees me, not just what I can do for her, but who I am as a person." The power of specific appreciation lies in its ability to reinforce the qualities and behaviors you want to see more of in your relationship. When you acknowledge not just that your partner did something, but why it mattered and what it revealed about his character, you're essentially saying, "This is what I value about you as a person." This principle applies to everything from major life decisions to tiny daily moments. Maybe you appreciate how he listened thoughtfully to your concerns about a work situation. Not just that he listened, but the quality of his attention and the wisdom of his response. Maybe you appreciate how he handles disagreements with respect and fairness. Not just that he doesn't yell, but the maturity and consideration he shows even when he's frustrated. The resistance many women have to this level of appreciation often stems from fear that it will make their partner complacent, or that it's somehow their job to build up a grown man's ego. But this misses the point entirely. Everyone, regardless of gender, thrives when they feel genuinely seen and appreciated by the people they love. When you consistently offer this kind of recognition to your partner, you're not just building him up, you're building the relationship itself. The 1% of women who master this skill also understand the importance of timing and authenticity. Forced appreciation or appreciation given only when you want something feels manipulative and actually undermines trust. But when appreciation flows naturally from genuine observation and gratitude, it creates a positive cycle where both partners feel more motivated to bring their best selves to the relationship. Practically speaking, developing this skill starts with shifting your attention. Instead of focusing primarily on what's not working or what needs to be improved in your relationship, start actively looking for evidence of your partner's good qualities and positive contributions. This isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about creating a foundation of recognition and gratitude that makes it easier to address challenges when they arise. Keep in mind that different men respond to appreciation in different ways. Some prefer private acknowledgement, while others feel most valued when they're appreciated in front of others. Some men are moved by words, while others prefer appreciation expressed through actions or gestures. The key is paying attention to how your partner responds and adjusting your approach accordingly. Number 3, maintaining individual growth and interests. The third secret that only 1% of older women understand is the critical importance of maintaining their own individual growth and interests even within a committed relationship. This might seem counterintuitive to some, but men are actually deeply attracted to women who continue to evolve, learn, and pursue their own passions throughout life. Many women, particularly as they age and settle into long-term relationships, make the mistake of merging their identity completely with their partner or their family. While devotion and partnership are beautiful things, when a woman loses her sense of individual purpose and curiosity about life, something vital is lost in the relationship dynamic. Think about what initially attracted your partner to you. Yes, it was probably your kindness, your beauty, your humor, but it was also likely your passion for certain things, your unique perspectives, your dreams and ambitions. These individual qualities didn't become less important once you committed to each other. They became the foundation of what you bring to the partnership. The 1% of women who understand this secret know that continuing to grow as individuals actually strengthens their relationships rather than threatening them. When you pursue your own interests, develop new skills, and challenge yourself to keep learning and evolving, you remain interesting not just to yourself, but to your partner. I think of Elena, a woman in her 50s who decided to go back to school to study landscape architecture after her children left home. Her husband initially worried that this new pursuit would take time away from their relationship, but the opposite happened. Elena came alive with new energy and passion. She had fascinating stories to share about her classes, new perspectives on design and nature, and a renewed sense of purpose that made her more engaging and attractive than ever. Or consider Janet, who at 62 decided to learn a new language and plan a trip to Spain. Her husband, rather than feeling left out, was inspired by her enthusiasm and ended up joining her in the language classes. What started as her individual interest became a shared adventure that added richness to their relationship. The mistake many women make is thinking that maintaining individuality means being selfish, or that focusing on personal growth means neglecting their relationship. The truth is exactly the opposite. When you continue to grow and evolve as a person, you bring new energy, perspectives, and experiences to your partnership. You become someone who is continually interesting to be around. Men, particularly as they age, often worry about settling into routines that become stagnant and boring. When their partner demonstrates ongoing curiosity about life and commitment to personal growth, it reassures them that their relationship will continue to be dynamic and engaging. It shows them that you're not just along for the ride, you're actively participating in creating a life that's worth living. This principle also addresses a common fear many men have about long-term relationships: the fear of being with someone who becomes dependent on them for all entertainment, fulfillment, and purpose. While interdependence in relationships is healthy and natural, when one partner loses their individual identity completely, it can create pressure and resentment. The woman who maintains her own interests and continues growing as an individual sends a powerful message. I choose to be with you not because I need you to complete me, but because I want to share my complete self with you. This kind of confident independence is incredibly attractive to men of all ages. Practical application of this principle might look like taking up a hobby you've always been curious about, enrolling in a class that challenges you intellectually, joining a club or organization that aligns with your values, or setting personal goals that have nothing to do with your relationship or family responsibilities. It might mean reading books in genres you've never explored, learning a craft or skill that interests you, volunteering for a cause you care about, or even something as simple as taking regular walks in different neighborhoods just to see what you might discover. The key is choosing pursuits that genuinely interest you, not just activities that you think will impress others or make you seem more interesting. Authentic passion and curiosity cannot be faked, and men are particularly good at sensing when someone is genuinely engaged with something versus just going through the motions. Some women resist this idea because they worry it's selfish, or because they've been conditioned to believe that good partners sacrifice their individual desires for the sake of the relationship. But this is a false choice. The best relationships are built between two people who are individually fulfilled and choose to share their rich, full lives with each other. The 1% of women who get this right also understand the importance of sharing their growth and experiences with their partner without making him feel obligated to participate in everything. You can be excited about your pottery class without expecting him to take up pottery. You can share interesting things you learned in your book club without insisting he read the same books. This balance between individual growth and shared connection is where the magic happens. When you're genuinely excited about your own life and growth, that energy is contagious. Your partner benefits from your enthusiasm and expanded perspective, even if he's not directly involved in all your activities. Remember, the goal isn't to become so independent that your partner feels excluded from your life. The goal is to remain the kind of person who has interesting things to share, new perspectives to offer, and ongoing enthusiasm for life's possibilities. This keeps your relationship fresh and gives your partner a reason to stay curious about you, even after years of being together. Number 4, creating peaceful home environment. The fourth thing that men absolutely love, but only 1% of older women consistently provide, is the creation of a genuinely peaceful home environment. Now, this doesn't mean being a silent, submissive presence or avoiding all conflict. Instead, it means understanding how to create an atmosphere of calm, warmth, and emotional safety that makes home feel like a true sanctuary. Most people underestimate the profound impact that the emotional atmosphere of a home has on everyone who lives there. Men, particularly as they age and face increasing stress from work, health concerns, and other life challenges, deeply crave a home environment where they can truly relax and recharge. Unfortunately, many homes become battlegrounds of competing priorities, unresolved tensions, and constant low-level stress. The 1% of women who understand this secret know that creating peace in the home isn't about avoiding all problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about approaching conflicts with wisdom, managing stress constructively, and intentionally cultivating an atmosphere where both partners can be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or attack. This starts with understanding the difference between bringing problems home and bringing stress home. Everyone has challenges and difficulties that need to be discussed with their partner. The woman who creates a peaceful environment knows how to share these concerns in ways that invite support and problem-solving, rather than creating additional anxiety. For example, instead of coming home and immediately launching into a litany of complaints about her day, she might take a moment to transition from work mode to home mode. She might say, "I had a challenging day and I'd love to talk to you about it, but first, let me just decompress for a few minutes and hear about your day." This simple shift honors both her need to share and his need for peace. The peaceful woman also understands the power of physical environment in creating emotional calm. This doesn't mean having a magazine-perfect house or spending a fortune on decorating. It means being intentional about creating spaces that feel welcoming and serene. Maybe it's keeping common areas reasonably tidy, having soft lighting available for evenings, or ensuring that there are comfortable places to sit and relax together. I remember Maria, a 55-year-old teacher who transformed her marriage by focusing on this principle. She realized that she and her husband had fallen into a pattern where their home had become merely a place where they managed logistics and dealt with problems. Dinner conversations were dominated by complaints about work, discussions about bills, and planning for various responsibilities. Maria decided to experiment with creating what she called sanctuary time each evening. For the first 30 minutes after they were both home, they agreed not to discuss problems, logistics, or stressful topics. Instead, they would share something positive from their day, talk about something they were looking forward to, or simply enjoy each other's company in comfortable silence. The transformation was remarkable. Her husband began coming home with more enthusiasm, and their overall communication improved because they weren't constantly associating home with stress and problems. Creating a peaceful environment also means learning to manage your own emotional state so that you're not constantly radiating anxiety, frustration, or negativity. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending to be happy when you're not. It means developing the emotional maturity to process your feelings in ways that don't contaminate the entire household atmosphere. The woman who masters this skill learns to recognize when she's feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or upset, and she takes responsibility for managing these emotions constructively. Maybe she takes a few minutes to practice deep breathing, goes for a walk, calls a friend, or engages in some other healthy way of processing her feelings before bringing them home. She also learns the art of timing when it comes to difficult conversations. Instead of addressing every problem the moment it occurs to her, she considers when and how to bring up challenging topics so that they can be discussed productively rather than reactively. This doesn't mean avoiding conflict or important conversations. The most peaceful homes aren't those where nothing difficult is ever discussed. They're homes where difficult topics are approached with respect, care, and genuine desire for resolution, rather than just venting frustration. Men respond powerfully to this kind of emotional leadership because it allows them to bring their own vulnerabilities and stresses home without fear that they'll be met with additional chaos or drama. When a man knows that his home is a place where he can decompress, where he can share his own concerns without judgment, and where conflicts are approached with maturity and love, he becomes deeply attached to both the home and the woman who creates this atmosphere. The practical application of this secret involves several key skills. First, learning to pause before reacting when you're feeling stressed or upset. Second, developing the ability to communicate your needs and concerns in ways that invite cooperation rather than defensiveness. Third, creating rituals and routines that promote calm and connection in your daily life together. This might mean establishing a regular evening routine where you both have time to transition from the outside world to your private space together. It might mean agreeing on certain times or ways to discuss household business so that it doesn't dominate all your conversations. It might mean creating physical spaces in your home that are specifically designated for relaxation and connection. The resistance many women have to this idea often comes from fear that creating peace means accepting unfair treatment or avoiding important issues. But the opposite is true. When you create a foundation of emotional safety and calm in your relationship, it becomes much easier to address problems constructively and much more likely that your partner will be responsive to your needs and concerns. The 1% of women who excel at this understand that peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of love, respect, and emotional safety even in the midst of disagreement. They know that their role isn't to eliminate all stress from their partner's life, but rather to ensure that home remains a place where both partners can find refuge, support, and genuine connection. Number 5, showing physical affection without expectation. The fifth secret that only 1% of older women understand is the incredible power of showing physical affection without expectation or agenda. This goes far beyond sexual intimacy, though that's certainly part of it. We're talking about the simple, loving touches that communicate care, connection, and appreciation without any strings attached. As relationships mature and couples settle into routines, physical affection often becomes either completely absent or loaded with expectation. A touch becomes a signal for sex, a hug becomes a request for something, or physical affection disappears entirely except in specific circumstances. The woman who understands this secret knows that non-sexual physical affection is like sunshine for a relationship. It provides warmth and energy that everything else grows from. Think about how you touched each other when you were first falling in love. There were moments of holding hands just because it felt good, spontaneous hugs that lasted a little longer than necessary, gentle touches on the arm during conversation, playful nudges, affectionate kisses that weren't leading anywhere. In particular, these moments of casual physical connection created a sense of bonding and intimacy that went far beyond words. The 1% of women who maintain this throughout their relationships understand that men, regardless of age, have a deep need for affectionate touch that has nothing to do with sexual performance or expectation. A gentle back rub while he's reading, holding his hand while watching television, a warm hug when he comes home, running your fingers through his hair while you're talking. These simple gestures communicate love in a language that touches something fundamental in the masculine heart. Men often struggle to ask for this kind of affection because they worry it will be interpreted as sexual advance, or because they've been conditioned to think that needing physical comfort somehow makes them less masculine. The woman who can offer this freely without agenda provides something precious, the simple pleasure of loving touch for its own sake. I think of Rebecca, a 60-year-old woman who noticed that she and her husband had stopped touching each other, except during intimate moments or brief greeting hugs. Their relationship wasn't in crisis, but it felt distant and formal. She decided to experiment with bringing back casual physical affection. She started small, touching his shoulder when she passed by his chair, giving him an extra long hug goodbye in the morning, holding his hand during their evening walk. At first, her husband seemed almost surprised by these gestures, but gradually he began to relax into them, and even initiate similar touches himself. The remarkable thing was how this simple change rippled through their entire relationship. They began sitting closer together, talking more intimately, laughing together more often. The physical connection created emotional connection, which deepened their bond in ways that went far beyond the touches themselves. The key to this secret is the without expectation part. When you touch your partner with agenda, hoping it will lead to sex, trying to get his attention, or expecting some particular response, the touch carries tension and pressure. But when you touch simply to express love and enjoy connection, it creates safety and warmth. This doesn't mean you should never initiate intimacy, or that all touch should be completely non-sexual. It means creating a foundation of affectionate touch that exists independent of sexual activity. When your partner knows that a caress or hug is given simply as an expression of love, without any hidden agenda or expectation, he can receive it fully and return it freely. The practical application of this secret starts with paying attention to opportunities for casual physical connection throughout your day. Maybe it's putting your hand on his back while he's cooking dinner, snuggling together on the couch while watching a movie, or giving him a shoulder massage while he's working at his computer. It might mean reviving old habits like holding hands during walks or while driving, giving longer hugs when you reunite after being apart, or simply maintaining physical contact during conversations, a hand on his arm, sitting close enough to touch casually. The resistance many women feel to increasing physical affection often comes from their own unmet needs or frustrations in the relationship. If you're feeling disconnected or resentful, the last thing you might want to do is increase physical intimacy. This is understandable, but it often creates a negative cycle where both partners withdraw physically and emotionally. The brave woman who can break this cycle by offering affection without expectation often finds that her generosity is returned, multiplied. When you create an atmosphere of loving touch, it tends to inspire similar behavior from your partner. It's also important to understand that different people have different comfort levels and preferences when it comes to physical affection. Some men love frequent casual touches, while others prefer less frequent but more intentional physical connection. The key is paying attention to how your partner responds and adjusting your approach accordingly. Some women worry that offering more physical affection will send the wrong message or create expectations for sexual activity. The solution is communication. You can explicitly talk about the difference between affectionate touch and sexual invitation, helping your partner understand that loving touch can be enjoyed for its own sake. The 1% of women who master this skill also understand the importance of being present during physical affection. A distracted hug while you're thinking about something else is very different from a hug where you're fully engaged with the moment of connection. Quality matters as much as quantity when it comes to loving touch. Remember that physical affection is a form of communication that often speaks more powerfully than words. When you touch your partner with genuine love and appreciation, you're telling him that you enjoy being close to him, that you find comfort in his presence, and that he's worthy of your affection simply for who he is. This kind of unconditional physical affection becomes even more important as couples age and may face changes in sexual function or health challenges that affect physical intimacy. When you've built a foundation of loving, non-sexual touch, you maintain physical connection even when other forms of intimacy might be challenging. Number 6. Supporting his dreams and ambitions. The sixth secret that only 1% of older women truly understand is the transformative power of genuinely supporting their partner's dreams and ambitions, even when those dreams might seem impractical, challenging, or different from what they had planned together. This goes far beyond simply not objecting to his goals. It means becoming an active champion of his aspirations and believing in his potential even when he might doubt himself. Many women, particularly in long-term relationships, fall into the pattern of being the practical voice in the partnership. While practical considerations are certainly important, when this role becomes so dominant that it crushes dreams and discourages aspirations, it can slowly erode the connection between partners and leave men feeling unsupported and misunderstood. As men age, they often grapple with questions about their legacy, their unfulfilled dreams, and their remaining potential. They might wonder if it's too late to start that business they've always dreamed about, write the book they've been thinking about for years, learn a skill they've always wanted to master, or make a career change that would bring them more fulfillment. The woman who understands this secret knows that her role isn't to evaluate the practical feasibility of every dream, but rather to be a source of encouragement and support that helps her partner believe in himself and his possibilities. This doesn't mean being unrealistic about finances or ignoring practical concerns. It means approaching those concerns as problems to be solved together, rather than reasons to abandon dreams. I remember counseling David, a 58-year-old accountant who had always dreamed of opening a small woodworking shop. For years, his wife Linda's immediate response to any mention of this dream was to list all the reasons it wouldn't work. They needed his steady income, he didn't have enough experience, the market was competitive, it would require too much time and investment. While all of these concerns were valid, Linda's approach made David feel like she didn't believe in him or his capabilities. Eventually, he stopped sharing his dreams with her altogether, and their relationship began to feel distant and purely functional. The transformation came when Linda learned to respond differently. Instead of immediately jumping to obstacles, she began asking questions that helped David think through his dreams more thoroughly. What aspects of woodworking excite you most? What would need to happen for this to become a reality? How could we start exploring this possibility while maintaining our current security? This shift from dream crusher to dream partner changed everything in their relationship. David began to feel supported and understood, and together they found ways to begin pursuing his passion gradually while maintaining practical security. He started with a small workshop in their garage, took some classes, and gradually built up his skills and client base. Eventually, he was able to transition to part-time accounting while developing his woodworking business. The key insight here is that men often don't need their partners to solve the practical problems of pursuing their dreams. They need their partners to believe that the dreams are worth pursuing and that they have the capability to make them happen. Supporting your partner's dreams might mean encouraging him to take that photography class he's been thinking about, supporting his desire to travel to places that interest him, cheering on his efforts to get in better physical shape, or believing in his ability to learn new skills even when he's feeling doubtful about his capabilities. It might mean helping him brainstorm ways to overcome obstacles rather than focusing on why obstacles make his goals impossible. It might mean being willing to make temporary sacrifices or adjustments to support something that's genuinely important to him. The 1% of women who excel at this understand that supporting dreams doesn't mean ignoring reality or being financially irresponsible. It means finding ways to honor your partner's aspirations while also maintaining practical stability. This might involve creating timelines, setting aside money gradually, starting with small steps, or finding creative solutions that address both dreams and practical needs. For example, if your partner dreams of traveling more, but you have limited resources, you might support this dream by researching affordable travel options, planning staycations that satisfy his desire for adventure, or finding ways to gradually save money for future trips. The key is showing that you take his dreams seriously and want to help find ways to make them possible. Sometimes supporting dreams means supporting your partner through the inevitable challenges and setbacks that come with pursuing anything meaningful. When he gets discouraged or faces obstacles, your belief in him and his goals can provide the encouragement he needs to persevere. The resistance many women feel to fully supporting their partner's dreams often comes from legitimate concerns about security, practical responsibilities, and the fear of change. These concerns deserve acknowledgement and discussion, but they shouldn't automatically disqualify every aspiration. The wise woman learns to distinguish between dreams that are genuinely problematic and dreams that simply require creative problem-solving. She also understands that supporting dreams doesn't mean she has to sacrifice all her own needs and goals. Healthy relationships involve mutual support for both partners' aspirations. Practically speaking, supporting your partner's dreams might involve asking questions that help him clarify his goals, offering encouragement when he's facing challenges, helping him research options or make connections, or simply listening enthusiastically when he wants to talk about his interests and aspirations. It might mean being willing to step outside your comfort zone to support something that's important to him, even if it's not something that naturally interests you. This doesn't mean pretending to share every passion, but it does mean showing genuine respect for the things that light him up. The magic happens when your partner feels that you're truly on his team, that you believe in his potential, and that you're willing to work together to find ways to pursue meaningful goals. This kind of support creates deep loyalty and appreciation because it honors not just who he is now, but who he's capable of becoming. Remember, dreams aren't always about major life changes. Sometimes they're about smaller aspirations, wanting to master a particular skill, hoping to improve relationships with family members, desiring to contribute to a cause he cares about, or simply wanting to experience new things and continue growing as a person. When you consistently support and encourage your partner's growth and aspirations, you become associated in his mind with possibility, hope, and personal expansion rather than limitation and discouragement. This creates a positive dynamic where he's more likely to also support your dreams and goals, leading to a relationship where both partners feel truly understood and championed. Number 7. Communicating directly without drama. The seventh secret that only 1% of older women master is the ability to communicate directly and honestly without creating drama, emotional chaos, or turning every conversation into a battle. This skill is perhaps one of the most valuable relationship tools a woman can develop, yet it's remarkably rare to find someone who can consistently express their needs, concerns, and feelings in ways that invite cooperation rather than defensiveness. Most communication problems in relationships stem from either avoiding difficult conversations entirely or approaching them in ways that escalate conflict rather than resolving it. Many women, particularly as they age and become more aware of their own needs and boundaries, struggle with finding the balance between being assertive and being aggressive, between being honest and being hurtful. The woman who has mastered direct communication without drama understands several key principles. First, she knows the difference between expressing her feelings and making her feelings her partner's responsibility. She can say, "I felt hurt when that happened," without demanding that he never do anything that might hurt her feelings again. Second, she understands that timing and approach make an enormous difference in how her messages are received. Instead of bringing up problems when emotions are high or when her partner is stressed or distracted, she chooses moments when both of them can engage thoughtfully and constructively. Third, she focuses on specific behaviors and their impact rather than making broad character judgments. Instead of saying, "You never help around the house, you're so selfish," she might say, "I've been feeling overwhelmed with household tasks lately, and I'd appreciate it if we could figure out a way to share the workload more evenly." I once worked with Patricia, a 52-year-old woman who had a pattern of letting small frustrations build up until she exploded in anger and accusation. Her husband would then become defensive and shut down, leading to days of tension and distance. Patricia learned to recognize her frustration earlier and address issues while they were still manageable. Instead of waiting until she was furious, she began saying things like, "I notice I'm starting to feel resentful about the kitchen cleanup, and I'd like to talk about how we can handle this differently." This approach allowed her husband to respond as a partner solving a problem rather than as a defendant protecting himself from attack. The key to drama-free communication is understanding that the goal is connection and resolution, not winning or being right. When you approach conversations with genuine curiosity about your partner's perspective and sincere desire to find solutions that work for both of you, the entire dynamic changes. This doesn't mean avoiding conflict or pretending you don't have needs and concerns. It means learning to express those needs and concerns in ways that make it easy for your partner to respond positively. Instead of creating adversarial situations where someone has to win and someone has to lose, you create collaborative situations where you work together to solve problems. Men respond incredibly well to this kind of straightforward, non-dramatic communication because it allows them to be helpful rather than defensive. Most men genuinely want to make their partners happy and will gladly make changes when they understand clearly what's needed and when they don't feel attacked or criticized. The woman who can say, "I've noticed that I feel most loved when you give me your full attention during conversations. Would you be willing to put down your phone when we're talking?" is far more likely to get a positive response than the woman who says, "You never listen to me. You're always on that stupid phone." The practical application of this skill involves several components. First, learn to recognize and manage your own emotional state before addressing problems. If you're feeling angry, hurt, or overwhelmed, take time to process those feelings privately before bringing them to your partner. Second, get clear about what you actually want. Instead of just expressing what's wrong, think through what would make things better. Come to conversations with possible solutions, not just complaints. Third, use language that invites cooperation rather than creating defensiveness. Phrases like "I would appreciate," "I've noticed," "I'm wondering if," and "would you be willing" tend to create openness rather than resistance. The resistance many women feel to this kind of direct communication often comes from fear that being too straightforward will make them seem demanding or difficult, but the opposite is usually true. Men generally prefer direct, honest communication over trying to decode hints, implications, and emotional reactions. There's also sometimes fear that if you ask directly for what you need, your partner might say no, and then you'll have to deal with that reality. But avoiding direct communication doesn't change the underlying reality. It just makes it impossible to address constructively. The 1% of women who master this skill also understand the importance of listening and responding to their partner's perspective once they've expressed their own. Direct communication isn't just about stating your needs clearly. It's about creating space for genuine dialogue where both people can be heard and understood. This might mean being willing to hear that your partner has different priorities or perspectives, being open to compromise solutions that address both of your needs, or discovering that some of your assumptions about the situation were incorrect. The transformation that happens when a woman learns to communicate directly without drama is remarkable. Conflicts that once escalated into major battles become manageable conversations. Problems that once felt overwhelming become solvable challenges. The relationship becomes a place where both partners feel safe to express themselves honestly and work together to create the kind of life they both want. Remember, direct communication without drama isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's about expressing your authentic feelings and needs in ways that make it possible for your partner to respond lovingly and constructively. It's about choosing connection over conflict and collaboration over competition, even when you're addressing difficult topics. Number 8, maintaining confidence and self-worth. The 8th secret that distinguishes the 1% is maintaining genuine confidence and self-worth, regardless of age, life circumstances, or relationship status. This isn't about fake confidence or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about developing and maintaining a solid sense of your own value that doesn't depend on external validation or approval from others, including your partner. As women age, there are countless societal messages that suggest their worth is diminishing. They're told they're less attractive, less relevant, less valuable than they were when they were younger. Many women internalize these messages and begin to see themselves as lucky to have a partner who still wants to be with them, rather than recognizing that they bring tremendous value to their relationships and their lives. The woman who maintains genuine confidence understands that her worth isn't determined by her age, her appearance, her achievements, or even by whether she's in a relationship. She knows that she has inherent value as a human being, and she carries herself accordingly. This kind of authentic confidence is incredibly attractive to men because it takes pressure off them to constantly validate and reassure their partner. When a woman knows her own worth, she doesn't need constant confirmation from others. She can receive compliments and appreciation without desperately needing them, and she can handle criticism or disagreement without her entire sense of self being threatened. Confident women are also more interesting to be around because they're not constantly focused on whether they're being approved of or accepted. They can engage in conversations, activities, and experiences from a place of curiosity and enthusiasm rather than from a place of insecurity and self-consciousness. I think of Margaret, a 61-year-old woman who went through a period of deep insecurity when she retired from her career and began to worry that she was no longer contributing anything meaningful to the world. She started clinging to her husband for validation and reassurance, constantly seeking confirmation that he still found her attractive and valuable. The transformation came when Margaret decided to focus on rediscovering what gave her life meaning and purpose independent of her role as wife or mother. She began volunteering with a literacy program, took up painting again after years of neglecting it, and started traveling to visit friends and family members she hadn't seen in years. As Margaret reconnected with her own interests and sense of purpose, her confidence returned. She stopped needing constant reassurance from her husband, and instead began sharing her enthusiasm about her own life and experiences. Her husband found this renewed confidence incredibly attractive and began to see her with fresh eyes. The key insight here is that genuine confidence comes from knowing yourself and liking what you find. It comes from having a life that you find meaningful and engaging regardless of what others think about it. It comes from accepting yourself fully, including your imperfections and limitations, while still believing that you have something valuable to offer the world. This doesn't mean being arrogant or thinking you're better than others. True confidence is humble. It doesn't need to prove itself or diminish others. The confident woman can acknowledge her mistakes, laugh at herself, ask for help when she needs it, and admit when she doesn't know something, all without feeling like these human limitations make her less valuable. Maintaining confidence as you age requires being intentional about challenging negative self-talk and societal messages that suggest your worth is declining. It means surrounding yourself with people who see and appreciate your value, engaging in activities that make you feel capable and accomplished, and continuing to grow and challenge yourself in ways that remind you of your potential. Practically speaking, building and maintaining confidence might involve setting and achieving personal goals that have nothing to do with your relationship, developing skills or knowledge in areas that interest you, taking care of your physical and mental health, and cultivating friendships and activities that make you feel valued and appreciated. It might mean learning to dress in ways that make you feel good about yourself, regardless of current fashion trends or what you think others expect. It might mean speaking up for your opinions and preferences instead of always deferring to others. It might mean taking reasonable risks and trying new things, even if you might not be perfect at them. The woman who maintains confidence also learns to receive compliments gracefully without deflecting them or minimizing them. When someone appreciates something about her, she can simply say thank you and allow herself to enjoy the recognition rather than immediately listing all the ways she falls short. She also learns to handle criticism and disagreement without taking it as a personal attack on her worth. She can consider whether feedback is useful and valid without automatically assuming that any negative response means she's fundamentally flawed or unworthy. In relationships, the confident woman can express her needs and preferences without apologizing for having them. She can disagree with her partner without fearing that conflict will end the relationship. She can maintain her own opinions and interests even when they're different from his. Perhaps most importantly, the confident woman doesn't make her partner responsible for her self-esteem. She doesn't need him to constantly tell her she's beautiful, smart, or valuable, though she can certainly appreciate when he does. This takes enormous pressure off the relationship and allows both partners to interact from a place of choice rather than neediness. The resistance many women feel to embracing confidence often comes from cultural messages that suggest confident women are threatening, selfish, or unfeminine. But healthy confidence is actually deeply attractive because it signals emotional stability, self-awareness, and the ability to contribute to relationships from a place of strength rather than neediness. Men are particularly drawn to confident women because confidence suggests that the woman is with them by choice, not by desperation or fear of being alone. This makes the relationship feel more valuable and meaningful, rather than feeling like a burden or obligation. Remember, confidence isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you develop and maintain through your choices and actions. Every time you choose to pursue something that interests you, stand up for something you believe in, take care of yourself, or challenge yourself to grow, you're building confidence. The goal isn't to become someone who never doubts herself or never feels insecure. The goal is to develop a foundation of self-worth that remains stable even when you're facing challenges, changes, or temporary setbacks. This kind of authentic confidence becomes the foundation for all other relationship skills and makes everything else easier and more natural. Number 9. Being genuinely supportive during difficult times. The 9th secret that only 1% of older women truly master is knowing how to be genuinely supportive during difficult times without trying to fix everything, minimize problems, or make the situation about themselves. This skill becomes increasingly important as couples age and face health challenges, career setbacks, family crises, and other inevitable difficulties that life brings. Many women, when their partners are struggling, have an instinct to try to solve the problem immediately or to offer reassurance that everything will be fine. While these impulses come from love and good intentions, they often miss what men actually need during difficult times. Someone who can witness their struggle without panicking, someone who believes in their strength without minimizing their challenges, and someone who can provide steady support without taking over. The woman who understands this secret knows that there's a profound difference between being helpful and being supportive. Being helpful often involves taking action, giving advice, or trying to fix the problem. Being supportive involves providing emotional stability, showing confidence in your partner's ability to handle challenges, and offering practical assistance, without taking away his sense of agency and capability. When men face difficult situations, whether it's health problems, work stress, family conflicts, or personal struggles, they often need to feel that they can handle the challenge while knowing they're not facing it alone. The woman who can provide this kind of support becomes invaluable in ways that go far beyond the specific crisis. I remember counseling Robert and Susan through a period when Robert was dealing with some serious health issues that required surgery and a long recovery period. Initially, Susan's response was to research everything about his condition, contact multiple doctors, and try to manage every aspect of his care. While her intentions were loving, Robert began to feel like Susan didn't trust him to handle his own health situation. The breakthrough came when Susan learned to ask Robert what kind of support he needed rather than assuming she knew what was best. Sometimes he wanted her to research information with him. Sometimes he wanted her to come to doctor appointments. Sometimes he just wanted her to listen while he processed his fears and concerns. And sometimes he wanted her to help him focus on normal life and not make everything about his health condition. by following his lead and providing the support he actually needed rather than the support she thought he should need. Susan became a source of strength and comfort rather than additional stress. The key to genuine support during difficult times is understanding that your role is not to eliminate your partner's challenges or protect him from all discomfort, but rather to ensure that he knows he has a capable, caring partner who will face whatever comes together with him. This means learning to manage your own anxiety and fear about difficult situations so that you can be a source of calm rather than adding to the emotional chaos. It means trusting your partner's judgment and capability even when he's facing something challenging. And it means offering practical help in ways that support his efforts rather than replacing his efforts. Sometimes genuine support means sitting quietly with your partner while he processes difficult emotions without trying to cheer him up or talk him out of his feelings. Sometimes it means taking care of practical matters so he can focus his energy on dealing with the main challenge. Sometimes it means advocating for him when he's not able to advocate for himself. The woman who excels at this skill also knows how to maintain hope and perspective without minimizing real problems. She can acknowledge that a situation is difficult while still expressing confidence that it can be handled. She can validate her partner's concerns while helping him remember his strengths and resources. For example, if your partner is dealing with job loss, genuine support might involve listening to his concerns and frustrations without immediately jumping into solution mode. It might mean helping him think through his options when he's ready to problem solve, but not before he's had a chance to process the emotional impact of the situation. It might mean taking on additional household responsibilities temporarily, so he can focus his energy on job searching. Or it might mean helping him maintain his confidence by reminding him of his skills and past successes when he's feeling discouraged. The key is always asking yourself, what does my partner need from me right now? Rather than, what do I think would be best for this situation? These are often very different things. Genuine support also requires accepting that you can't control outcomes or protect your partner from all of life's difficulties. Part of loving. Someone is witnessing their struggles with courage and faith, rather than trying to eliminate all possibility of pain or disappointment. This doesn't mean being passive or uninvolved. It means being actively supportive in ways that honor your partner's autonomy and capability while ensuring he knows he's not facing challenges alone. The practical application of this skill involves developing emotional regulation skills so that you can remain calm and centered even when your partner is struggling. It involves learning to listen deeply without immediately trying to fix or change anything. It involves asking questions that help you understand what kind of support would be most helpful rather than assuming you know. It might mean learning to tolerate uncertainty and discomfort without immediately trying to eliminate it. It might mean developing faith in your partner's strength and resilience even when he's temporarily feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. The resistance many women feel to this kind of supportive approach often comes from their own anxiety and desire to control outcomes. When someone we love is struggling, our instinct is often to try to make the struggle go away as quickly as possible. Learning to be supportive rather than controlling requires trusting that our partners are capable of handling their own challenges with our support, rather than instead of their own efforts. Men respond powerfully to this kind of genuine support because it communicates respect for their capability and trust in their judgment. When a woman can remain steady and confident during difficult times, it provides a foundation of stability that allows her partner to face challenges with greater courage and resilience. Remember, being supportive during difficult times isn't about having all the answers or being able to solve every problem. It's about being a reliable, loving presence that makes it easier for your partner to find his own solutions and face his own challenges. This kind of support creates deep bonds of trust and appreciation that strengthen relationships for years to come. Number 10. Maintaining mystery and intrigue. The 10th and final secret that only 1% of older women understand is the art of maintaining mystery and intrigue throughout a long-term relationship. This doesn't mean being secretive, manipulative, or playing games. Instead, it means continuing to be a person who surprises, delights, and interests your partner even after years of being together. One of the most common relationship killers is the assumption that once you know someone well, there's nothing left to discover. Many couples fall into patterns where they think they know exactly how their partner will respond to every situation, what they think about every topic, and what they want from every experience. While predictability can be comforting, too much of it can make relationships feel stagnant and boring. The woman who maintains mystery understands that even in the closest relationships, each person should remain an individual with their own inner life, continuing growth and capacity for surprise. She knows that being completely transparent about every thought and feeling doesn't necessarily create intimacy. Sometimes it eliminates the delicious tension of discovery that keeps relationships exciting. This doesn't mean being dishonest or withholding important information. It means understanding that you don't have to share every mundane detail of your day, every passing thought, or every minor emotional fluctuation. It means maintaining some private space where you can continue to grow and evolve as an individual. The mysterious woman might occasionally surprise her partner by expressing interest in something he wouldn't have expected, sharing a memory or experience she's never mentioned before, or revealing a skill or knowledge area he didn't know she possessed. She might suggest an activity or destination that seems out of character, but intrigues them both. I think of Catherine, a 57-year-old woman who realized that she and her husband had fallen into completely predictable routines. They had the same conversations, went to the same places, and did the same activities week after week. Catherine decided to intentionally introduce some mystery back into their relationship. She started small, choosing restaurants they'd never been to, suggesting movies in genres they didn't usually watch, asking him questions about topics they'd never discussed. She began taking a pottery class without initially mentioning it to her husband, then casually showed him a piece she'd made. She started reading books in subjects that were new to her and would share interesting ideas she'd encountered. The effect on their relationship was remarkable. Her husband began to look at her with renewed curiosity and interest. He started asking her questions and seemed genuinely excited to discover these new aspects of her personality. Their conversations became more engaging, and their time together felt more dynamic and interesting. The key to maintaining healthy mystery is understanding that it should add to the relationship rather than creating distance or suspicion. The goal isn't to make your partner feel insecure or uncertain about your commitment. It's to keep him curious and engaged with who you are as a person. This might mean not immediately sharing every plan or idea you're considering, allowing some of your personal growth and exploration to unfold naturally rather than discussing every step of the process. It might mean occasionally doing something that surprises him, learning a new skill, expressing interest in an unexpected topic, or taking a position on an issue that he wouldn't have predicted. The mysterious woman also understands the power of not being completely available all the time. While it's important to be emotionally present and supportive in your relationship, maintaining some independence and having your own activities and interests creates space for your partner to miss you and appreciate your presence. This doesn't mean playing hard to get or being deliberately unavailable, but rather maintaining a life that's rich and interesting beyond your relationship. When you have your own friends, activities, and interests that occasionally take you away from your partner, you remain more interesting and desirable. The woman who maintains mystery also knows how to share selectively. Instead of immediately telling her partner everything that happens in her day or everything she's thinking about, she might choose the most interesting or significant things to share, leaving some experiences as her own private memories or observations. She might occasionally challenge her partner's assumptions about her by revealing preferences, opinions, or reactions that surprise him. Not in dramatic or artificial ways, but simply by continuing to be a complex, evolving person rather than a completely predictable partner. The practical application of this secret involves continuing to grow and change as an individual rather than becoming completely merged with your partner's identity and interests. It means maintaining some privacy and independence while still being committed and connected. It might mean not immediately responding to every text or being available for every conversation. It might mean having some experiences or activities that are primarily your own, even if you share the highlights with your partner later. The resistance many women feel to maintaining mystery often comes from the belief that good relationships require complete transparency and constant togetherness. While honesty and closeness are certainly important, there's a difference between being honest and sharing everything, between being close and being completely merged. Some women also worry that maintaining any sense of mystery or independence will make their partner feel excluded or unloved. But the opposite is usually true. When you remain an interesting, evolving individual, you give your partner more to appreciate and discover rather than taking that away. The 1% of women who master this skill understand that mystery isn't about creating distance. It's about maintaining the delicious tension between intimacy and individuality that keeps relationships feeling alive and dynamic. They know that the goal isn't to be completely known and completely predictable, but rather to be deeply loved while still maintaining the capacity to surprise and delight. Men respond to this kind of healthy mystery because it keeps them engaged and curious rather than taking the relationship for granted. When you remain somewhat unpredictable in positive ways, when you continue to reveal new layers of yourself over time, when you maintain your own interesting life alongside your shared life, you become someone worth continuing to pursue rather than someone who's completely figured out. Remember, maintaining mystery isn't about manipulation or game playing. It's about honoring your own complexity and continuing to grow as an individual, even within a committed partnership. It's about understanding that the best relationships are between two people who remain interesting to each other over time, not two people who become completely predictable extensions of each other. We've covered 10 powerful secrets that only 1% of older women use to create extraordinary relationships. These aren't just theories. They're proven principles that can transform your love life at any age. Your mission is simple. Choose 3 secrets that resonated most with you and focus on implementing them over the next few months. Small, consistent changes create profound transformations. Remember, age isn't a barrier to amazing love. It's actually your advantage. You have wisdom, experience, and freedom from insecurities that younger women lack. Before you go, please like this video if it provided value, share it with women who could benefit, and subscribe for more relationship insights. Your comments help build our community. Tell us which secret resonated most with you. If you found exceptional value today, please support us with super thanks. Every contribution helps us reach more women with these life-changing messages. You have the power to write a new chapter in your love story starting today. Age isn't the end of your story. It can be the beginning of your greatest chapter yet. Go create the extraordinary love you deserve. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.